Hello folks. Sorry. Video. Airbus 320 in airport. Which one? I don't care. Runway 09, long enough. Purpose of the video, take off without using the MCDU, no flight director, no auto thrust as much as possible, no autopilot. Take off 1500 feet, we are at sea level now, left, downwind, we keep gear and flaps, and then we land. Problem to solve, V1, okay, that's something you would need to figure out one way or another. You can't really take off with this kind of airplane without having a V1. VR, I don't care, has to be after V1. The aircraft will rotate at some point, so you just deflect the side stick and you wait, it will rotate. It's not the proper way to use this kind of aircraft, but it's a possible way to use the aircraft. If you know for certain that with your given weight, temperature, wind, the runway is long enough, you can do this. You don't need a VR. V2, I don't care. What pitch to rotate to? Do I need a flight director to tell me? No, I don't need a flight director. I need to kill the trend vector. So I'm going to rotate 3 degrees per second until I kill the trend vector. That's all. And then I keep that speed as long as within V2 plus 15. Or actually whatever, because I don't even know what the V2 is. So as soon as I'm airborne, I'm gonna manage my rate of climb, and I'm gonna get out of takeoff flex. So that's gonna be manual thrust, and I'm gonna fly manually, join the downwind, all manual, judge my turning point between downwind and base by ballparking the runway, judge my rate of descent by ballparking the rate of descent by looking at the runway. Flop 1.5 until we turn on base, then flop 2, then right after flop 3, and then flop 4. Auto brake, we don't need it. We're just gonna brake manually. What else? Yeah, we don't need any automatics whatsoever to fly this aircraft. This is to prove that this aircraft does not need any of no CDU. I mean, it can be flown. It's not going to be efficient, it's not going to be the safest way, but it can be flown. You don't need anything to fly this aircraft. It is being built for pussies. Okay, we know that. Okay, the engineer was an LGBTQ plus kind of guy, and he built for pussies. But it doesn't mean that a man can fly this aircraft. So let's do this. So we got ignition there, parking brake is off, we don't care about light belts, there's nobody on board, there's nobody around, we just go. How much power? Okay, that's another thing. How much power? Well, we want to have a trend vector of 30 to 40 knots, because with experience, you know that's what you get on this kind of aircraft all the time, unless the runway is particularly short. Otherwise, regardless of weight, you always get a trend vector of 30-40 knots. If you're a professional pilot, you never notice it, shame on you. So I don't need to know what kind of N1 I should put, and I don't even care. I just want to see 30 knots, yeah, on the trend vector. Otherwise, if I wouldn't have a trend vector, I would just put 100% and just go. So we're gonna increase the N1, let it stabilize for it to become even. So no autopilot, no flight director, no throttle as much as possible. Brake off. I'm gonna put it there. What is it? 70%, 74. Look at that trend vector. It's way more than I need. That's fine. Keep the center line. 100 knots. At 120, I'm gonna start pulling until it starts rotating. Okay, now I rotate slowly, just slower than normal because I don't have properly calculated speeds, but we're airborne already, so gear up. All right, I would kill the trend vector, but I don't want to pitch up too much, so I'm going to reduce thrust already because this rate of climb is already more than I need, so I'm gonna lower my pitch. I don't want a too crazy of a rate of climb. Speed is 180 already, too much. Alright. Okay, I'm going to pitch for a rate. 1,000 feet a minute, it's more than enough. 1,400. We're gonna level off here. 1,500. Okay. 180 knots, that's fine. Keep 180. The Airbus is incredibly easy to fly. It flies instead of you. So you need 1% of a real pilot skill to fly this aircraft as if you were a very, very, very good pilot. Heading bug, you don't need it because it's going to be the reciprocal of what you take off with. In this case it was 090, so we're going to turn left to heading 270. So speed more or less, altitude more or less. Of course we'll have to pay attention at the wind. We don't want to be blown towards the runway. So I'm gonna bring the wing level before 270. I prefer to be wider than too close to the runway on my downwind. Even though by turning on base I will be slower, so it's naturally going to be tighter. That's to be considered. We keep our altitude 1,500, our speed, and once we are on a downwind heading, first we fly the aircraft as usual. Okay. And that's a runway. We're a little bit wide, to be honest, so I'm gonna get to at least 270. I want the runway to be half away through my window, and it's pretty much there. So I'm gonna go 270 and maybe a little bit less. Let's see how it works. Sometimes if you're not beam the runway, it gives you the illusion to be too far, but you're not. In fact, I think we are perfect. So we are at 1500, perfect. Speed is perfect. Heading is perfect. What else? Now we have time. Auto brake, I don't need it. Oh, we're gonna go around. Are we gonna go around? Yeah, I don't know. Should we go around? And climb to 3000, just to show you that you don't need any automatics to go around at all. This is an aircraft, 2 wings, 2 engine. Is exactly the same as a Cessna 152, no difference. What's actually, this is much easier than a Cessna 152, to be honest. Much easier. I mean, there is nothing easier than this thing. You don't need any flight director, autopilot, or throttle to do whatever you want. Super easy. So, when are we gonna turn? Are we gonna start timing and all that kind of shit? No. 45 degrees. Basically, when the runway disappears here, you're pretty much 45 degrees, just like if you were in a Cessna 152, just exactly the same. So, alright, that's 45 degrees-ish. So we're gonna go now flop 2. Oops. That's okay. That's alright. So we start descending. First I want to slow down quite significantly. I should have done it before, but that's okay. We didn't exceed any parameter. Start descending at 500 feet a minute-ish. 25 degrees of bank. Gear down. Compensate the power. Yeah, don't sink. Don't worry, I cannot cancel it. You will have to bear with that. So that's 90 degrees. Check the runway. Yeah, we can continue the turn. No need for it to be too tight. Second notch of flaps. Speed. What speed should I take? What do I need to know the number? No, I don't need to know the number. I need to know that with a certain rate of descent. Unfortunately, guys, I can't silence this thing.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
1000.
Don't sink.
Full flaps.
Don't sink.
Let's go towards 1,000 feet a minute.
Don't sink.
Power back a little.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
Now we look at the picture. We look at the runway. This is a perfect shape. We want it to remain stable. So probably 800 feet a minute is fine.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
And now we look at the picture. It should not change. If it doesn't change, it means that we are coming into a constant path. We're not falling short. We're not coming in long. So we are a little fast. How do I know that? Because with this rate of descent, we should have a positive attitude. So I'm going to slow down a little. I like the picture. Coming in a little high. That's fine. So go 1,000 feet a minute. That's perfectly fine.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
That's just fine.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
Retard.
Don't sink.
Okay. Idle power.
5.
Yeah. Touchdown. Perfect landing. Reverse. When to brake? Whenever. Below 100. Yeah. Slowly. Braking. Slowly. Slowly. 80. Coming off reverse. Okay. And we'll end it. Right. So, I think it went pretty well. The one mistake was not to slow down before selecting flap 2. We didn't exceed anything, but it's just not pretty. And to be honest, I was lucky. I take that as an error. Other than that, it worked perfectly well. Did I need, I don't know, any chronometer, any flight director, autopilot? No, you don't need any of that. You really don't need any of that. All right. Okay, speed brake retracted. Flaps retracted. You don't need any of that. This is an aircraft. 2 wings, 2 engine, wheels. It's an aircraft. So whoever says an Airbus has to be flown with auto throttle, all this, that's bullshit. Okay, this is an aircraft. From a Cessna 172 and an Airbus 380, there is absolutely zero difference. They are aircraft. They are all flown the same way. The basic principle are exactly the same. So you can fly this airplane without throttle, no flight director, no autopilot, no heading bug, no altitude selector, no auto brake. What else? Unfortunately, there are some automatics that you can't disable, like trend vectors here and there. You don't need to fly in navigation display, nothing. Just go VR. It's great. SID can be manually flown, raw data, manual thrust. Yeah. Now we're going to do another one, exactly the same, but with a go around. See you in a moment. So here we go again. This time we're going to do an even better job. So we said the go around will be to 3000. Do you need the altitude selector? No, you don't. Do you have an altitude selector in a Cessna 152? No, you don't. So do you need an altitude selector to fly an airplane? No, you don't. If you think it's a mandatory necessary item, sorry. It's a shame to say. You have to remember your heading, you have to remember your altitude. Obviously, if you're flying commercial with passenger within a certain environment, flight director off, of course, you have to, and I 100% agree, but technically, do you need any of these things? No, you don't. Did I turn off the flight director before? I don't remember, but I haven't used it. So I want to get rid of that and get rid of that. Yeah, it will tell me that there are no speed. So let's just make up some speed. Just because I don't like to see anything in the icon. So where was it? Performance, should I call it 125? Yeah. 130. 140. Something like that. That'll do. Okay. Not that I care about any of those things. So What else? Auto brake RTO, do you need that? No, you don't. Auto throttle, we will try to minimize its use as much as possible in this kind of aircraft. Flight radar off. Autopilot will be off. So we'll take off again. Auto brake max. He wants auto brake. Okay, you get auto brake max, whatever. So take off again, straight ahead, 1500 feet, turn left on downwind. The mode has to be VOR, sorry. If you want to have the course synchronized, just for a better graphical representation, then 090. Otherwise, it's gonna just be annoying, and that's it. Not because we need it. It doesn't show anything. We don't care. Okay, so parking brake off. Again, we want to see like a 30 knots trend vector. If we don't know the runway length, we believe it's short, make it 40 and you're good. So before it was 80, 70, 80% was already giving us the correct parameter, so we're gonna do that. Yeah, first of all, we're gonna stabilize the engines. We don't want any asymmetry. We'll then rotate to kill the trend vector. And if we reach a too high of a speed, we're gonna reduce the thrust, like we did before. So right about there. What is it? 65. Let's see what kind of trend vector do we get. That's already more than 30. That's more than enough. All right, let's rotate. All right, follow the rate. Better than before. See, I don't have, it's manual thrust. Completely manual thrust. Gonna keep it slower than before. That's it. Gear is up. We keep the flaps 1 extended. And we keep on climbing. 1,000 feet. I like the speed. I can now accelerate a little bit. 1,300. We're good with the heading. $1,500, level off. Overshot the altitude a little bit, doesn't matter. We turn on downwind while we descend a tiny bit, just to go exactly to 1,500. We keep 180 knots. Very easy. Okay, that's 1,500. Restore our thrust. If you want to have the exact number, we have to climb a few feet. We took off 090, so we're going to turn left 270. It worked perfectly well before. All right, let's roll out. And we try to keep our high altitude. Okay. And now we start looking outside, mind the speed. Very sensitive thrust levers. And that's the runway, looks perfect to me. Altitude is fine. Speed is perfect. Heading or track is perfect. So this time we're gonna slow down when I beam the runway to prepare for flap 2 selection, turning on base. Again, auto brake nothing. We're gonna go around. We're gonna go straight 3,000 feet. Or actually, let's make it more complicated. We're gonna go around And climbing, turn left on a downwind, climbing 3,000 feet. Otherwise, it's too easy. All right, we got good altitude, good speed, perfect track. We are abeam the runway. I'm gonna slow down now and select nothing actually. I'm gonna keep clean until I want to turn on base. Okay. When the runway will disappear, pretty much, that will be the right time. Super easy aircraft to fly, honestly. Check weight. I don't care. Performance, next phase, next phase, next phase, next phase. Approach. Clear. So the runway has just disappeared, so flaps 2. Start descending. At roughly 500 feet a minute.
Don't sink.
Yeah,
Don't sink.
just like
Don't
before.
Sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
Is there any
Don't
way to
sink.
silence this shit?
Don't sink. Don't sink.
Anti-skid
Don't
terrain.
sink. Don't sink. Don't
I don't
sink.
know.
Don't sink. Don't
All
sink.
right,
Don't sink. Don't sink.
we're on
Don't
base
sink.
now. I want to see the
Don't
runway.
sink.
Yeah, the runway
Don't
looks good
sink.
to me.
Don't sink. 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 Don't sink.
Okay, flap 3.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
1,000.
Don't sink. 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 Don't sink.
Gear.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
Flaps full.
Don't sink. 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 Don't sink.
Good picture.
Don't sink. 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 Don't sink.
500.
Don't sink.
That's
Don't sink.
perfect.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
Okay,
Don't sink.
nice
Don't
attitude
sink.
with
Don't
rate of
sink.
descent.
Don't sink.
So I like
Don't
this
sink.
speed.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
Ignore the
Don't sink.
EGPWS.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
So we're gonna go
Don't
around,
sink.
set flap
Don't
1.
sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't
Alright,
sink.
let's go around.
Don't sink.
Easy.
Don't sink. Don't
Power.
sink. Too low terrain. Don't sink. Too low terrain. Don't sink. Too low terrain. Don't
Positive
sink.
rate, gear up.
Too low terrain. Don't sink. Too low terrain. Don't sink. Too low terrain. Don't sink. Too low.
And I'm
terrain.
gonna
Don't
just
sink.
manage the rate
Too
of
low
climb.
terrain. Don't sink. Too low terrain. Don't sink. Too low terrain. Don't sink. Too low terrain. Don't
Climbing
sink.
at 2,000 feet a
Too
minute,
low
that's
terrain.
perfect.
Don't sink. Don't
So I
sink.
like that
Don't
thrust.
sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
I like the
Don't
speed.
sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
So gear is up,
Don't sink.
flaps is 1,
Don't sink.
perfect.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
So I'm gonna start turning as per the briefing. Okay, he did decide to shut up eventually. I'm gonna accelerate, reduce my rate of climb at the same time. I don't want it to be too crazy. Flaps up, 2,300. So the plan is to level off at 3,000 and roll wings level at 270. This speed is fine, no more. Let's control our rate of climb to something manageable. Almost there. We can call it roughly 3000. 270. We're just gonna fine tune our altitude, manage our speed. Track is perfect, and go around execute it. Manual thrust, no flight director, no autopilot. 3,200 knots, that's fine. No drama. Can be done. Okay, so now we're gonna land. So we're gonna decide to descend to 1,500 feet. Engine idle. Speed brake out. Gear down. Flap 1.
$2,500.
Yeah. Turning on base. Flaps 2. So I like the picture. It's still a little high. Flap 3. Speed brake in. Picture getting better.
Don't sink. Don't
Yeah,
sink.
shut up.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
Flaps full.
Don't sink. 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 Don't sink.
Arm the
Don't
spoiler.
sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
Little
Don't
manageable
Don't
overshoot.
sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
Perfect
Don't
picture.
sink. Don't sink.
Time to reduce the
Don't
rate of
sink.
descent.
Don't sink. 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 Don't sink.
Shave
Don't
off the
sink.
few knots to
Don't
get a
sink.
better picture
Don't
with
sink.
ADI.
Don't sink. 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 Don't sink.
100.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
40.
Don't sink.
30.
Don't sink.
Retard.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
5.
Touchdown. Reverse. Manual braking. And we're off the runway. Speed brake in. Flaps up. No drama. Absolutely no drama. That's a manually executed go around, manual thrust, no flight director, no autopilot. No almost nothing. Absolutely no drama. Airbus 320. So my advice is the same as always. Stop pushing button and following lines, and learn how to fly an aircraft for a change. So I hope you like this short video, short flight with me. Take off, downwind and land, and take off, downwind, final go around to 3,000 feet turning to downwind, then a steep approach into land with nothing out of the ordinary. No big syncrate bank angle, no crazy speed or anything. The only thing that I didn't like was the first flap selection, which was not beyond the limit, but I didn't think about slowing down when I did select, went from flap 1 to 2. Other than that, to me, everything was just fine. Yeah, I'll do more of this video just to demonstrate that any aircraft can be flown manually in any situation, and everything else is just bullshit. Obviously, I'm not saying that anyone should ever fly a real aircraft without using the CDU, inputting weights and winds and calculating thoroughly performance and following SOP. I'm just saying aircraft are aircraft, and everyone with a license in the pocket should be able to fly it and should be able to manage the axis, the energy, the power of the aircraft without any automatics. We use it anyway in real life for safety, for legality, for optimization of fuel consumption, whatever. But aircraft can be flown with nothing, no CDU or MCDU, no flight director, no autopilot, no autothrottle, in any situation, right? No flight plan in there, no altitude selector, no heading bug, no auto brake, no even auto speed brake. I mean, I don't have to arm this thing. The problem is, if I don't arm it, I probably have a caution, something, some warning. Okay, again, if you liked it, put a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of content, and my advice, learn to fly the aircraft. Stop pushing buttons. Okay, forget about autopilot, forget about all that crap. Any retarded 99-year-old grandpa can push buttons. Learn to fly the aircraft. Okay, take care, bye bye, see you next time.